Hi, Remi.
Hi, Agathe.
I'm very excited because you are our first candidate to do this little video of interviewing, and I'm very excited. So thank you for being daring enough to be the first one.
My pleasure.
So Remi and I met, I think, a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago, as a candidate. We were a regular recruiter candidate type of situation. Remi, you're a creative director, and so I'm going to ask you these few questions, and because I would like to explore a little bit how you define yourself, how you are, where you're going, and what you're currently doing. So as a creative director, I want to ask you what people call you for.
People usually call me because they're at a pivot or an inflection point. And so either they call me, whether it's a startup company or a big international brand, because they want to make their brand culturally relevant. And they need bold, new ideas that resonate with culture. Or they call me, which is fairly similar, because they need to think laterally, differently, because they've exhausted like all their ideas, or they need to stand out in a sea of sameness. So whether it's lifestyle, whether it's travel, whether it's beauty, whether it's luxury, usually people call me because they're at an inflection point and they need to be culturally relevant again to a certain segment or subsegment of consumers.
And it's very interesting because I think that's the one word that I remember of you is being very innovative or avant-garde, because rarely have I seen in a resume somebody that has been in museum with you know, a Puma, like in athleisure, sportswear, and in travel and design at the same time. So you've definitely have covered quite a landscape. So my next question to you is why people keep you?
When they do. Usually people keep me, and I'll go back to you mentioning innovation. Usually people keep me for several reasons. First, to inspire teams, because I think I'm pretty good at that. But secondly, they usually keep me because they want to change things internally or with regards to their clients. But usually they call me or they keep me because of this sentence: "We've always done this that way," which always annoys me. Because back to your point about innovation is a bit cliche and a bit overhyped or overused, but innovation can be many things. It can be creative ideas, but it's also processes, it's product innovation, sometimes it's budget. Because I think laterally, or I hate when people say we've always done this way, they usually keep me, one, to inspire a team, because I think I get the best out of people, and I'm very proud of having been able to push people outside or their boundaries or what they thought they would be capable of, and secondly, to think differently. I know it's been used by Apple 30 years ago.
Yeah, you didn't trademark that one, right?
Think laterally, maybe.
Yeah. Very good. And it's interesting that you say that, because when I look at your resume, what I try to find, and especially with creative people, is innovation in the world of ideas is very, very seducing. A lot of people can have ideas, but I always look at how they're implemented, because it's taking, you know, from the idea into the doer. And I think you have that very hands-on approach where you make things happen, like you manifest, you know, those ideas in things, right?
I think you're right. Innovation is absolutely key in execution too. I mean, it's cliche to say that you can have the best idea in the world. If you don't innovate in terms of execution and budget, by the way, and take into account the evolution of technology, of rights, of everything, then your idea is just a good idea.
Yeah. Okay, so my third question is, what is your why? what makes you wake up in the morning, and what puts a smile on your in your face?
Look, I think the answer is twofold. There's a personal answer and there is more of a collective answer. I wish I could tell you that my why is to change the world, but it's not. I mean, it is in a way, but that would be too pretentious. So I think the first part of the answer is it's very personal. My why is that I just love it. You know, it's like, I don't know if you're familiar with this. When you're a runner, you have the runner's high, you know, you know, I don't know if it's dopamine or whatever, but you really feel this runner's high. Well, I have the creative high. So, you know, it's selfish, but my why is that I absolutely love it. It's playful, it's intellectually challenging, and there is a huge satisfaction when you're able to solve a challenge. So that's a great satisfaction. And also I've always been defined as a generalist, and you know, over the years, generalist was good or it was bad, or you had to be a specialist or a generalist. But what I know is what I do as a creative director is probably the only space where I can bring to the table everything I love and everything I learned over the years. So, you know, connecting the dots between different disciplines, whether it's art or music or cinema or street culture or politics, and it makes me better and more curious to bring disruptive ideas to the table. So that's personal. When it comes to changing the world, and I made a joke at the beginning, but yeah, collectively, and that's probably more modest because I don't have the answer, is it's highly satisfactory when I help people think differently when they try and solve a challenge. And hopefully that's for, you know, a good cause. But yeah, to answer more specifically, I think my why is to be able to change the status quo. I just don't like the status quo. So whether it's political, whether it's social justice or social problems, whether it's creatively, I try to push people to question, and then after questioning, to change the status quo. And I do the same thing with my kids, with my colleagues, with my friends, with my family, with my clients, is like how you can really question and change the status quo, especially in these unprecedented times we are living.
Yeah, I look, it resonates. It's funny because I had a little moment of the chill because you said a few things, but I think the game changer thing is really important. We are today in a moment where opportunities are up to grab. Like everything can be done differently. So it's really now where it's like a big door opened, you know, but I think that there's definitely something of a game changer that you have. And I want to rebound on one thing that you mentioned is connection, because I do think that you are a very connected person. And I'm going to phrase that in several ways. I think that the variety of the topics that you are interested and the worlds you have dabbled in are extremely, and not dabbled, you have worked in, are extremely important. This is you have a bit of like what I call the homme de la renaissance, you know, your capacity to think, you know, at a political level, to think at to think about streetwear. You have you know, a personal engagement in the world that is very interesting. So yeah, definitely thank you.
And I think just to comment on this, you know, I've had big jobs in big companies with corner offices and so on, but it was like I was in my lane and I was not too bad at it. And then when I jumped and I became a freelancer and like co-founder of a creative shop, it's scary. But then after 6 or 9 months, I realized that it benefits me tremendously, but also it benefits my clients, because in the past 6 months, I've worked on a CBD brand, on a beauty brand, on a travel brand, on a tourism office, on a sustainable living green wall company, on a furniture rental company, on a sneakers brand. but then you're able to see the trends and the common trends and the red thread and the common denominator. So it does enrich my work,
Yes.
and it does also enrich my thinking to the benefit of my clients.
Yeah, nicely said, nicely done. And yes, I do think that there's it's very inspiring. It's very inspiring to see people who have, I want to say, enough space to contain several worlds, several ways of thinking, to contain several cultures, etc. So
it's funny you say that, because whether it's on Instagram or other social accounts, my motto or the phrase I put that I've discovered recently is a Bob Dylan quote: is "I contain multitudes."
Yes,
we all contain multitudes,
that.
but I do contain multitudes, for the worst and for the best.
Okay, so the last question, which is kind of the cherry on the cake, is it's what is the next dream? What would be the dream? 5 to 10 years. And I know we can't really plan anything longer than 2 weeks these days, but what is the pull? Where are you looking yourself to go?
Look, I don't have a dream job, if you ask me, or at least not a dream position within a specific company, because I think it depends. But I think what really gets me out of bed in the morning is, or what will in the next 5 to 10 years, is to have the creative freedom to change a brand or to pivot a brand, whether it's a startup company reaching a plateau and trying to reinvent itself, or a big brand trying to be culturally relevant again, is to have enough creative freedom and enough trust from people I work with to change the game and to change the status quo, because that's where I'm the happiest, and I think where I delivered probably the best result. So, it might sound pretty vague, because it can be creative direction, it can be art direction, it can be photography, it can be activation, it can be social, it can be PR, it can be commerce, it can be a fashion capsule collection, it can be the medium or the channel, it doesn't really matter, as long as it's all about how do you craft the best story and the best product all together to be able to deliver a result. But that's what makes me happy. It's having the creative freedom to make an impact.
Nice. Well, thank you, Remi. First, thank you for joining me on this first one. And if I can remember a few words from our conversation, I think that it's definitely innovation. I think it's definitely a doer. I think you have that. I think that is, yes, a connection, this way of connecting different worlds together. And, but I think the one word that resonated the most with me is relevant. How, to stay relevant, meaning to be in the present times and aware of what everything is at the same time. So I love that. So we'll put also, I want to add that I'm going to put down below a link with your website and your Instagram that I follow. And I think that, in a next life or in a past life, you must have been a photographer.
I still am. And I still do photography for our clients from time to time. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have an eye that is impeccable. And but each time I see it, then I'm like, okay, it's not worth for me posting ever again because it's never going to be good. So
thank you. Sometimes too icy even, but yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you,
My
Remi.
pleasure. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.